A teen's mysterious death getting nationwide attention after attending a July 4th boat trip with friends and never returning home. Now, a Mississippi grand jury will determine if criminal charges will be brought after the family's private autopsy couldn't rule out foul play in Nolan Wells' death.
There were 300 to 400 people out on Horns Island. You mean to tell me nobody saw anything?
Any parent that would be in this situation, you would do anything to find out what happened to your child.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking.
This morning, more audio of the frantic call from the boat Nolan Wells was supposed to have taken to shore after celebrating July 4th with friends on a remote barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast.
And what do you want to do? Do you want to be towed back?
I want to get this boat unsank and towed back, yes.
The caller told the dispatcher everyone aboard was unhurt and noted he and the passengers were young.
There are 0 adults on board. Nobody here is over the age of 21.
State's autopsy, and that has not been released. The family sent the body of Nolan Wells for a second independent autopsy, and that autopsy says undetermined. This is what I do know, Griff. I know on the back of his head, the occipital bone back here, there is deep red subcutaneous tissue. Was there some bruising on the neck? I don't know. So right now, it could go in so many different directions. But let me tell you this, the call that the friends made when they were returning without Nolan, they say he wanted to stay and be with a friend girl he just met. She, Katie, says, no, he left with his friends. I got a problem right there. That's a conflict in the testimony. But when you
All right. Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Oh, it is nice to finally cover a new case, take a break from Sebastian Rogers. Hope everybody is having a wonderful Tuesday. Let's see. Let me get this set up here. I'm sure there's a lot of you in here that probably know this case better than I do, so bear with me because I had to do a lot of backtracking and so many different angles when you jump into a case that's already 3-4 weeks old now. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I started out with Nancy's Gray stuff, watching that, and of course, yeah, she kind of a lot of her shows. I haven't watched them all, covering Nolan Wells. Kind of seems to point towards the Friends, at least that's what I get from. And then, yes, you've got this Officer Tatum who has like a podcast, and he interviewed one of the friends. And yeah, it really comes down to a girl and the friends. Who's telling the truth? Because someone's lying. So anyway, let's jump into this. If you're not covered or followed this case, I will do a brief recap and timeline. They released Tatum, speaking of him, I guess he got a hold of a small clip from them when they were getting towed from getting towed from one of the boats. It's a small clip where it shows somebody on the towing boat or whatever panning, so you can see all the individuals. There is no Nolan on it, but we'll go over how many people are allegedly on it. Some people claim 6. I see there's 7 or 8 people on there. It's kind of tough to see. But yeah, so that is the other thing, Lulu. I was trying to find the original, and I just kept coming across so many alterations. So I'm hoping I'll do that in the next live, because I'm certainly no professional, but I've had a little bit of audio experience. and I'd like to take a crack at it because you can definitely influence somebody's judgment on what is being said with mumbled audio when you put subtitles on. I forget that term. Um, but yeah. All right, so let's get started. If you can't hit that like button on the way in here, and yeah, there. If you haven't seen it, there is video of them on the boat. I don't know if there's like a specific time because I know it's like I think they left at 4 p.m. So I don't know if it's between somewhere around like 4:30 p.m. that day. So this is Nolan Wells, age 18, out of Mississippi. Was going to community college. He was playing football, wide receiver. His mother, Christine, and his father, Elmore, who has been out very vocal. I was trying to kind of pick and choose on what to use in this live when starting a new case. That's already been 3 weeks out, 3 weeks plus. So we have July 3rd. This all takes place on the 4th of July weekend. Nolan cooks dinner for his parents the night before on a Friday, tells them that he loves them. He's going for a 4th of July trip where they're going to go to Horn Island. I guess that's a popular place to go. And so we have July 4th. There's 3 boats. Now, I don't know, like, the timing of, like, all the boats deploy at the same time. If anybody has, like, inside information or, like, just been following this case, if I get anything wrong, please correct me in chat because I have to cover so many different angles. But there was 3 boats altogether at one point or another. But Nolan was on what was the Trident boat, which carries up to 9 people. That boat departed around 10 a.m. from Ocean Springs. And I meant to pull up the map, but I do have a map here. And then it arrives at Horns Island for the Independence Day celebration a little after 11, close to noon, I guess. And then they party. And then Nolan is last seen sometime around 3 p.m. And this is when I guess the group decided that they were going to leave. And Nolan, allegedly, there's 2 different stories, according to the friends who went out on one of these boats. But again, there was a group of 3 boats combined, a 22-foot Trident that he was on, a 24 Talon, and an 18 Palm Beach boat. Again, I'm not a boat person, so. But 3 boats, and the group was going to leave. According to the friend side of things, Nolan was on the beach with apparently this girl, Katie, saying that they were trying to wave him in, like, "Hey, we're leaving." But we'll listen to the interview from one of the friends. Gives a better description, I would. But he wanted to stay with this, allegedly, with this girl, Katie, that he met there. And then according to Katie, she allegedly is working with the law enforcement. And she claimed that, no, he got on the boat. So clearly there is a conflict of interest. Somebody, the friends are not telling the truth, or the one girl. So yeah. Little sus. Oh, thanks, Crazy Buck. Oh, so, well, I want to jump ahead. Let me get through this part. That's interesting. It reminds me of a case because I do wonder. It could be 3 scenarios. It could be obviously foul play, or an accident, or part 2 of an accident where they freaked out and then like ditched the body overboard, but they didn't actually do anything to him. But of course, they panicked and dropped him out. But again, that same could go with him staying at the beach and something like that happening as well. But anyway, going back to this Katie, this is Grace. she put out something on behalf of her sister, Katie, the girl that Nolan was allegedly met and wanted to stay with. But she said that Katie made it home because she was on another boat with different people. Katie was safe with my brother and sister-in-law. So Katie, I guess when she left with her brother Tony and then her fiance Ava. And let's see, anything else in here? And yeah, she's saying that we're prayers to the family and that they're working with authorities. So again, it's really sus. But again, if you're just
we're at the
listening to the story for the first time, again, I'm trying not to jump the gun for anybody that is just diving into this case, just like myself. So here's just a small part of the audio. I'm going to play the longer part later. But so they leave at approximately, was at 3 p.m. and this is when Nolan was last seen. And sometime around 4 p.m., the boat experiences, I guess they were taking on water, so they called us dispatch.
west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come?
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down now.
So that's what I've been talking about. That is the sound of what appears to be
Crazy
panic.
bug. Interesting. I do have, sadly, because again, I'm just trying to grab different sources. So I do have stuff from Nancy Grace, again, so we can look at all sides so everybody can see. But so yeah, they take on some water. They call this dispatch. And then apparently, I guess they kind of fix the boat because there's a extended part of the call where the captain or somebody says that the actual owner, which is like the grandfather of one of the friends, said that they got it working. Anyway, the boat and all them make it back home besides Nolan. And then, of course, it gets late on July 4th. Nolan doesn't return home. No texts, no phone calls from his phone. The phone is interesting, I will say that, but I guess that can be chalked up for just maybe he just left it on the boat. But then, obviously, not showing back up. The family panics, and so they launch a search for Nolan. And that leads into July 5th, where Cajun Navy assists.
Island just before 10 a.m. the morning of July 4th. Wells and his friends arrived at 11:14.
I'll put this full screen real quick so I can do one thing real quick. Hey, Alan. Good to see you, Sandy. And, of course, my lovely mod, Sassy, Sensei, and Pocahontas. Thank you, ladies, as always, for your wonderful support. Oh, Alan. Oh, good. Oh, that's awesome. So I could definitely lean on you if I have any questions or get anything wrong when it comes to this area, because that's interesting. That'd be nice to have somebody that has some insight on that particular area.
For the next 5 hours, the boat was stationary until it left at 4:31 p.m. without Wells, moving at no more than 4 knots. Whatever problem the teens reported was resolved about an hour later at 5:25 when vessel regains normal operation and begins accelerating at 30 to 35 knots. Friends said they did not abandon Wells. Rather, the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources reported his friends saying Wells was in the company of an unknown female and that he chose to remain at the island. As searchers began scanning the island and surrounding waters, this email obtained by ABC News shows the preliminary information they were given, describing Wells as a black male, 6'1", 180 pounds, wearing shorts only. The Marine Patrol listed his alcohol intake as heavy. The state's autopsy, including the results of toxicology tests, is pending.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, the toxicology. I'm surprised it's taking this long, but usually then when cases get this big, I think sometimes they may already know details, I think, because what is it? I have to look this up. It's been a minute because I'm trying to think back to the case in Tennessee with the kid that went over into the water. Riley, his toxicology. What did it take? Like 4 to 6 weeks, did they say? Usually, something like that. And then usually, sometimes if it starts to get high profile, especially if it's controversial, they may kind of hold on to those, at least from the public.
As long as we continue to remember.
Yeah, I don't know what how it works out there. But yeah, hopefully we do get that though. I'm sure we will. So then sadly on Monday, let's see, where's it? Yeah, around 9 a.m. they find his body face down at the northwest tip of Horn Island.
See, and that has not.
Now I do, like I said, I did grab clips from different creators, Nancy Grace being one of them, just because there's certain interviews or stuff I've got from Kelly as well. So, but yeah, let's
Not
play
been
this
released.
part.
The family sent the body of Nolan Wells for a second independent autopsy, and that autopsy says undetermined. This is what I do know, Griff. I know on the back of his head, the occipital bone back here, there is deep red subcutaneous tissue. It's not anywhere else. It is not pooling of the blood once he's died. The blood pools at the lowest point. It's not that, because it's only there. I'm curious, does that suggest a blow to the head? There are many accidental possibilities. When you look at the video out there,
So then we get to the, oh yeah, so I mean, I have more of the autopsy, but basically they did an original one. It's still undetermined, the death. They took the lungs, many of the organs, I forget all of them. And then they took part of his neck, because I guess they can, water gets in there, they can do microscopic tissue samples and stuff like that, along with the lungs to tell, because sometimes it's not clear if it's just a straight up drowning. There's also dry drowning. So we didn't get really a straight answer from the first one. And then, of course, with the family, they obviously are super sus that this is some kind of foul play. And so they did their own independent autopsy, but because they didn't have access to his lungs and stuff, and his neck and his trachea and stuff like that, they couldn't really do much. The only thing they noted in the second autopsy is some kind of bruising, which Nancy Grace just talked about. And there is a doctor that does say, like, depending on if he was laying on his back post-mortem, it could have pulled a little bit and could have caused some redness. Again, I'm no doctor or medical examiner, so, but he kind of was on the fence with that. All right, so here's the controversial audio. Again, I wish I had more time. I want to get my hands on like the original. Again, it's like came out in like, as far as I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, I like searching this up, I kept finding like bits and bobs of the audio. It's like they had like the later parts of the audio of this dispatch, and then like as time has gone on, like more from before the beginning of the call comes out. And anyway, and then long story short, because at the beginning you're going to hear, and the one you're going to hear here has been kind of cleared up in a way, but keep in mind it's going to have subtitles on it, and that could just fool you as well. I mean, yeah, I mean, he could be saying Nolan. It does sound like he's saying Nolan, but again,
Detail assistance.
I don't. Again, it's tough to say if they really say Nolan don't die. Again, this has been alterated, so again, this is not the original audio, so you have to keep that in mind. So at the like beginning of the call, there's kind of like this weird stuff going on. We just heard some people thinking this is like them speaking about Nolan, and then the dispatch assistant comes on.
Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
Now, wake the fuck up could be just like, because obviously they're taking on water. Again, just both sides. It could be taking on water, and, you know, one of the guys is trying to get the other guy to, like, you know, wake the fuck up. They're probably all under the influence of something, or, and trying to get the boat fixed or whatever. Again, or you could take it into the context that they're trying to wake Nolan up. Again, there's so many different angles you could look at it and twist it.
Detail assistance. Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working.
Rusty.
We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
Ankles or angles?
What'd you say? Hey.
Yes. How far is the
No,
water
this is
coming
not
up,
AI.
sir?
AI would just be clear. So yeah, if anybody thinks it's AI, I mean, you would just make a clear AI audio. I mean, yeah, I guess if you wanted to kind of distort a little bit, God, that'd be a task. But yeah, if it was just AI, yeah, no. I mean, yeah, AI is scary, ridiculous nowadays. But yeah, I think if you were trying to play that as into AI, trying to maybe frame them, again, if that was the case, I think you would just have it more clear. That's just me just kind of looking at glass half full. And again, like I said, I forget the term, but you know, when there's distorted audio and then somebody has subtitles up, it can make you think that that's what, you know, you're going to hear that now.
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like, we're going down now.
Straight out to investigative reporter.
Very difficult to make out. I leave it to you. Let me just play this.
Okay, because again, like I said, when I was trying to find the audio, I kept finding like one version of it and another version, and they're all like cut up. So I do apologize. I don't like at this time. I couldn't like find one cohesive, just straight audio. That is something that's going to be on my bucket list here for this case. Get a hold of that so I can at least try what I can hear, because there's conversations. There's even more stuff going on as they are talking that I don't know if anybody's really tried to discern what's going on. But yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be part of a conversation, but here you go.
Detail assistance. Vicky speaking. How can I help you? And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How
on
many?
board.
All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
Hey, D.
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look. 46.
Yeah.
Okay,
and that's a good argument too. Like if they have them on the boat at this point, like, yeah, why not just like, yeah, we got a guy not breathing here. Right? Unless there was actually malicious foul play, even if like there was kind of like maybe a fight and he slipped and like hit his head, like still, yeah, it just at this point, like having him on the boat again, just arguing both sides. And that's a great point. Like when you just ask for medical assistance, you know, if like we were led to believe like what's being said, like they're not sure if he's dead or not, you know, no, I don't know.
For 30 degrees by 14.684 north, and then west by 88 degrees by 46.79.
Certainly could happen,
All
Sharon.
right. How many adults and children on board?
No, there's no children.
So is there anybody on board? How many adults, sir? That was the question.
Gotta jump in and pull the plug while you're going.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'll have to get the original, Susan.
Yep, I just need you to answer these questions so I can get you over to the captain.
Okay,
How many
what's
adults
going
on board?
There's 0 adults on board.
There's nobody on board the boat?
No. Nobody
right.
here is over the age of 21.
Sir, that was not the question. Is there a person? Is there a person, a living individual on the boat?
Yes, there's lots of people breathing on the boat.
All right. How many people, sir?
Like 7.
The dispatcher then transfers the call to a captain.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I just actually got off the phone with his grandpa, who I'm guessing is the owner of the boat. And he said,
Okay.
I just hung up with him. He said that they don't need any help right now, but if something changes, he'll call me back. So I'm guessing that they may have figured it out, because that's what he said. So they're in a panic and their boat won't crank.
Now, as I said before, we don't exactly know where Nolan was at.
And yeah, and again, just to play both sides again. That the whole is Nolan dead? Nolan. Could that just be like misinterpreted, and that's them panicking about the them taking on water and whatever. Again, I no boat expert. It's been decades since I've been on a boat
at this point. But according to reporting from WLOX, this distress call was made around 4 p.m. And according to the Jackson County Sheriff's Office and other accounts that we've heard, Nolan was apparently last seen around 3 p.m. So it places this call at just about an hour.
But we do have footage of them. If you haven't seen it, Dead Man will play. It's kind of towards the middle and end, because I tried to get all the footage, not all of it, but some of the main ones that, including this new one that was released. And then Crazy Buck, you mentioned something that he posted. I'll have to go look at as well. But anyway.
After someone would have last had eyes on it.
I think this is what I'm getting from, again, not to keep pausing. I think it seems like these first few weeks, and not to blame Nancy Grace, my dyslexia. It sounded like, the fingers would be kind of pointed towards the friends, and it doesn't sound good. Then you find out that they had his phone, which is weird. But again, if he just left his phone on the boat, because people don't take their phones, because obviously it's salt water and they don't want their phones to get ruined, even though you do see people out there with their phones out there. But anyway, I digress. But now it seems like if the friends start cooperating, but yet we heard that the girl that he met was cooperating from the beginning, but then maybe what if those actually end up twisting around and it's really something did happen on that beach and the friends, weren't involved. But again, I digress. Obviously toxicology will help, but there's still so much we don't know.
But I want to talk about what happened since that press conference.
No, this isn't. Yeah. If we can, I need to take. Yeah.
Conference, because if you
the race thing, I think is stupid.
Watched our previous episode.
Just.
You might remember that we talked about this moment, this big detail that attorney Ben Crump shared about how Nolan was found.
The United Cajun Navy without a shirt. So somebody knows.
Spoken with Crump, and we certainly didn't tell the parents.
So I meant to cut this part out. During that press conference, he kind of jumped the gun and said Nolan Wells had trunks on and a shirt. But then this was later debunked. He was only wearing his swim trunks when found face down on the beach on Horn Island. Because that would have really added an interesting new detail.
Anything like that. Now, here's where it gets a little confusing, because this fully clothed claim doesn't actually yes to a question about Nolan being fully clothed. Post writing, quote, did the UCN press because
sorry, skip this.
So first at 9:56 a.m.
Okay, so again, this is from Nancy Guthrie, and they kind of point out some certain times where there's, gaps in time that they find suspicious. Again, so this part is kind of leaning towards the friends, right? But we're going to look at the other side as well, because again, they did get some footage from the boat right after that call.
A.m. The boat leaves the original dock. It arrives at Horn Island at 11:14. So at around 4 o'clock, there is.
Yeah, if we can, just try not to bring up the race thing just on any signs, just because I don't want, to get the. I think that can be such a sensitive topic.
A call to the Coast Guard about the boat. NBC News got a hold of it.
We're sinking. Can y'all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Everybody's on board. So does that mean Nolan?
But yeah, if Crump, if he was just kind of twisting some things, certainly, I mean, I'm not against that. Again, I listened to it once, and that was like yesterday or the day before. So it's been a minute, and I didn't want to put that in this because there's a lot of other angles that we can look at.
Is on there? Who was on that boat? At 4:31, the boat leaves Horn Island and it is towed approximately 3 miles, and then the tow ends. So after 3 miles, they go back to the original dock, okay? They arrive at 5:44 p.m. So it looks like this is where Horn Island is, and this is where the original dock is that I am referring to. I looked it up, and El Camino Real Road is in Gulf Hills, Mississippi, which is right above Ocean Springs. So I'm wondering if this is the house where they got the phone. Now, the boat travels to Fort Bayou. At 6:06, the boat returns to the original dock. Then, from the original dock, the boat goes back to Fort Bayou, and then they go to the boat launch, and it is put onto the trailer and moved by the vehicle. Did they drop people off at the original dock, travel to Fort Bayou, pick somebody up, and go back to that original dock? And then from there, why was there an hour and 13-minute time gap? This boat was sinking hours before, and then they're just having it docked for an hour and 13 minutes. You would think they'd want to get that boat out of the water ASAP.
That's from the Real TikTok Detective.
So this one I'm trying to figure out, and if anybody knows in chat, it seems like, is this where they were kind of more docked? Because, like, we see footage, there's a couple of different clips we'll look at here in a bit. And I'm just curious if anybody knows, because this is where they're saying, like, the phone call was placed as far as the dispatch thing. So I'm assuming they departed and then realized they were taking on water and then made a call shortly after. But now we get to, they got rid of the water, right? Which I'm assuming has to do with the bilge pump. Again, I'm no boat expert. But here is the video they released. I'll put it full screen so you guys can see it. But this was released late last night by this Officer Tatum, who has a podcast, who did end up interviewing the friend. So, and then later on, because you guys know I love breaking down videos, I tried to show some of the other clips, because remember, there's a clip of Nolan allegedly seen for just a brief second that TMZ released. And then there's another clip with a so-called argument about maybe it being Nolan or one of the friends asking about the phone. So I took all those and kind of combined them together to see if we could kind of get like our bearings and like see what details we could discern. So I did do that as well. But here is the video of the boat. It's going to play a few times. But so this is after the call. I'll play it a few times. It'll slow down. It's on repeat. Oh, 31 foot of water behind the third row boats. Oh, okay. Thanks, Mystic. Yeah, I guess 31 feet isn't... I mean, I don't know how far it goes out shallow between that and the mainland. I guess I could look that up. So here it is, slowed down. And again, this was released last night. I thought it was released today when I saw it, but so we'll go left to right. I think I we'll count because remember he said thought there was 7 people. Let's see if this repeats here. Okay, so we have where's Waldo? I'm sorry, the red stripe. We got hat guy. Another female, so female 1 and 2. Then we got blue trunks and we got turquoise, I guess, trunks there. So 2 males, 2 females at the front of the boat. Then we got everybody loves blue. Then we have this guy here. So that's number 5 right off the bat. 3 males, 2 females. Continuing on. We've got the guy who's on his phone here. So now we have 4 males, 2 females. We got 6. I can't tell if this is a person or not. I'm curious what you guys think. Driver's on the phone. Gotcha. I appreciate you helping me out, Crazy Buck. So right there, there's 6 people, and then as we pan, and then that depends on if this is a person. I think this is, because I mean, this kind of looks like somebody, this is a head, and then this is kind of like, we're like looking at the side of them, right? Let me know in the chat right there, but that would be 7 people right there, three males there, and then you have the 2 and 2 off to the side. But then we have the red trunks guy here as well. So there's at least 7 for sure, and I'm pretty sure that's 8. I mean, unless this is something that's part of the boat that I'm not, but that I don't know. I mean, I clearly, I'm sure that's going to be, something that they were probably, you could tell he was a little nervous in the phone call when, they're asking about adults and him not, we're not 21. But anyway, so 7 confirmed for sure, and then let it play. Yeah, Elizabeth. Yeah, we were kind of talking about that. We'll play that again. But yeah, only thing is whether this is a person or not. That's the only thing I can't tell. Actually, that is a person because I just saw their head turn. One more time. And I think it's a female. And actually, no, I shouldn't say it because it's. Yeah, I can see the arm. Okay. Yeah, at some angles, I'm gonna be honest. If I have a pet peeve, it's watermarks. I hate it. Even if I get exclusive stuff, if I do a watermark, it put it like up in the top right hand corner or something. Man, it drives me nuts. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that is a person. So that's 8 people on that boat. Now, somebody mentioned something about like the guy had a necklace on him. Again, we're trying to look at this all angles. Oh, is it this guy or is it this guy over here? Oh, this guy. In the photos, because someone was like, oh, look, this confirms Nolan's friends were involved because now he's wearing the whatever chain necklace, whatever it is. But if you see in the photos, Nolan and I'm assuming it's this guy. I'd have to look. I'll have to remember white hat and kind of Levi looking trunks from this angle here. I know it's not, but anyway, he had one as well. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, for sure. And maybe this guy could be maybe one part of the tow group. So maybe there were 7, and then this guy, like, again, I don't know. Unless somebody knows this is, like, for sure the friends, like all of them. Again, I don't know. I know some of the names and some of what they look like. mean, this guy kind of looks like he just got on board, the way he's kind of like hanging up here. So this could be just the guy like coming over from the towboat. And so there are 7 people, just including him. Let me know what you think in chat, but that could be the case as well. It could be Elizabeth, but we're going to look at it from both angles because, I mean, there could also be the case, because really it kind of comes down to 7+ people versus a girl, and then I guess you could include her brother and fiance, not her fiance, but the brother's fiance, who picked her up, the girl that was with Tatum. So, I mean, it's kind of like 7 against 1 or 7 against 3, however you want to put it. Who's telling the truth? Because they both say, like, no, Nolan didn't get on the ship. We kept waving him. And we'll look at these interviews, and I have the interview of the friend. And then, you know, again, I mean, that's a lot of people to cover up. And again, it could be an accident if you lean towards that angle. But we'll come back to this footage because I try to line it up. But it doesn't look like they're far from the beach. Alan, since you're aware of this area, I'm just going to assume, but let me know what you think. Is that Horn Island in the background? I know there's like another... I'm going to let this play one more time, but... Yeah, I mean, I see the boats. I'm assuming this is Horn Island. Correct me if I'm wrong. So it kind of shows you... and then if we're looking at that... Yeah, because there's like Ship Island, other islands. So we are looking south from that video's perspective, I'm assuming. Yes. Okay, thanks, Alan. So it seems to me that from what I'm getting kind of the gist of, okay, so Nolan's body was found kind of right at the tip here. But the phone call was made somewhere over here. So this is kind of like where they were at, and then they kind of left, and then I'm assuming somewhere shortly after departure they started realizing they're taking on water, and then the phone call. So yeah, there's just that kind of recap, but yes, Mystic, I'm sorry. There are 3 boats. Yes. 2 boats had the GPS taken. Yes, thank you. Yeah, Wyatt had the Triton. Bart had the 24-foot Talon, which is like the biggest one of them all. It carried 10 to 16 people. And then there's like a small 18-foot Palm Beach. Yeah. All right, so there's that video, but we'll come back to that because, you know, there's other clips where they're back on Horn Island. And, you know, there's one of allegedly Tatum, and then there's another one with, you know, some kind of argument. Not the phone call argument. Oh, yeah, this one here. But none of these boats match, as far as I know, at least the Trident that they're on. I don't know if that's the 24-foot Talon that he's on. I don't know if anybody can answer that. Because they said, like, I know, like, in one of the interviews, maybe it's from the friend, that they were all parked together. This boat is definitely not one of the boats. This is supposed to be him, like the last known footage that we have. And again, this is the difference. So 5 miles away from where his body was found, from where the call was placed, and where they were basically anchored at for the party. Correct. Yeah, the 22-foot. Gotcha. Yeah, I wish there was more to that video. There probably is, but maybe because it's under investigation, like maybe only allowed to put that out. Who knows?
Kate.
Okay, so here's the friend's interview, and I'll put it full screen. I was kind of back and forth on it, but again, keep in mind it takes some cojones to do an interview, especially under this much scrutiny, right? But this is the Tatum. This is the guy that's clearly got, some inside sources, getting that video that we just saw that was released late last night, that we just watched, of the towboat, and clearly shows 7 people, maybe 8, but I think one of them may have been just one of the towboat guys hopping over to help. But here is just a clip of the friend's interview, and he kind of tells his side of the things. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to look up, I'm going to multitask. So I'm going to go full screen. Buck said that there was some other stuff that was released as well. So there's a lot of different stuff coming out.
And Katie, Nolan was sitting there, and the last time I saw him, I looked at Nolan, and Nolan was like shaking his head, laughing, and I was like, dude, you crazy. I was like just joking with him. And but anyway, Nolan, that was the last time I laid eyes on him. But when we were leaving, obviously
no one's deleting your information,
that came with us, unless they demanded to, be there and asked, this is a very common thing at Horn Island. When you're out there, a lot of people ride out there with someone and in with somebody else all the time. I've done that 100 times. It's a very common thing. But Nolan was sitting by the boat with that Katie girl, and my buddy yelled for Nolan, get on the boat. We're leaving. The boat's having issues. And no, he didn't say that, but he was panicking. Nolan, get the F on the boat. Get on the boat. And Nolan said, no, I'm staying out here. I'm going to ride in with somebody else. And it's not uncommon to hear, but it's not like my buddy asked him one time. My buddy asked Nolan multiple times to get on the boat. Nolan, get on the boat. Get on the boat. We're leaving. If you're coming, you got to come now. And Nolan made a decision to stay out on the island.
And I heard the girl that he was with, Katie, had text somebody that she heard people yelling
correct
for Nolan to get on it. Is that true?
And I have a picture of that. She texted my buddy, and the next day everybody was panicking and everybody's texting Katie, because she was obviously seen with Nolan the whole day at the island. Katie sent a message to my buddy the next day and said, this is the last time I saw him, he's really sweet. But she also mentioned that the last time she saw Nolan was when my buddy was yelling at him to get on the boat. And she was right there to see that Nolan decided not to.
So what happened to him? I mean, one way or another, he wound up dead, floating in the water. And the preliminary medical report doesn't, at least they've chosen not to tell us what it indicates, other than the sheriff saying no signs of foul play. Now, Hudson, the man interviewed there, says it was not unusual for people to ride out to the...
Like I told you,
and yeah, just for clarification, I forgot to mention, that is Nolan's best friend, Warren Hudson. So again, for him to come forward, got to give him, it takes a lot of cojones to do that in this day and age, because, man, it doesn't matter how, like, non-nefarious it could look. Any kind of, we've just seen so many interviews over covering the true crime for the past 4 years that even the most honest interviews, people, will flip on them. And again, we don't know the whole truth. So again, until we do, there's still all kind of persons of interest if this is foul play. But anyway, here is another section of the interview where he kind of goes out to Horn Island here.
I grabbed my phone when I left the Palm Beach to get on the boat with Triton. To get on the boat with Wyatt, because we were having, boat issues.
Oh, which one is it? Man, I'm so glad I'm so happy that there's people in here because I'm still trying to kind of piece all the little footage that is out there that we have. The boat in this photo, Little Daddy. Okay, is Katie's dad's boat. Really? Is that it, Little Daddy? Oh, of course. And TMZ. I mean, they're not as bad, but I swear to God, their footage is always the worst. I have a clearer one, but I'm assuming this is Little Daddy. Okay, so I mean, at least the story with the female is semi-correct, and he's out there. It'd be interesting to know the timestamp, and it looks like from this angle, it's tough to tell, but he seems like he is, like, when this pans. Okay, sorry. So we know where these guys were docked, like the group, but like, oh, I don't have the one where I do, but it's just not here. But it almost looks like they're kind of like there isn't many more boats beyond them as if we were looking west. And Alan, let me know your thoughts as well. If you think we're kind of looking west that way, as if we are kind of like on the northwestern tip, because that would line up kind of where his body was found. Whereas they clearly departed from and were docked. I want to say docked, anchored, whatever, over here.
Sitting boats about the boat. Nolan made a decision. The next day, everybody was panicking and everybody's texting Katie, because she was obviously seen with Nolan the whole day at the island. The next day, everybody was that was what to do.
Water and the preliminary, no signs of foul play.
Okay.
Now,
so here's the second
Hudson,
part.
The man interviewed there says it was not unusual for people to ride out to the.
Like I told you, and I grabbed my boat. I grabbed my phone.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, see there. Okay. This is what I meant to do.
Man interviewed there says it was not unusual for people to ride out to the.
Like I told you, and
yeah, that's definitely a Little Daddy. Okay. And so maybe that could be Kate, and then she was with her brother, who had also her fiance with her.
Grabbed my boat. I grabbed my phone when I left.
But yeah, like it's tough to tell because I don't know. I have to look at the other footage, see if there's any more wider shot. But it doesn't look like there's any more boats beyond this. Whereas, like in the other footage that we see from another clip where they're allegedly having an argument. There's boats when they pan around. There's boats everywhere, as if they're definitely more in the, not on the tip of the island, but more east.
The Palm Beach to get on the boat with Triton. To get on the boat with Wyatt, because we were having, boat issues. And when I got on the boat, there was phones everywhere on the console. Everywhere.
Wind always blows.
Everybody's phone that was sitting around the boat was on the console. Like, we had phones that we didn't even know whose they were, and people just leave their phone, especially when people are drinking and, they're not in the right state of mind. a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just leave my phone and I'll get it later, you know? And that's the way it is around here. You know, you don't take your phone and walk around the island. You know, there's plenty of phones on the boat and, you know, spread out between the 3 boats that we had. And I mean.
So, Jerry, just to like piggyback off that, like if it wasn't the friends and they weren't involved, but there is this argument, Nancy Grace brings it up, that allegedly there was deleted comments or there's just no text messages or phone calls on his phone. So if it was technically left in there from the time that they arrived till then, of course, his demise, sadly, there wouldn't be anything on it. So that would, yeah, looking east here. Gotcha. Yeah.
We had 20 plus people on the spread between our 3 boats, so of course everybody's phone was on the boat. I never saw someone in the water that day sitting with their phone in their hand, scrolling on anything or even taking pictures in the water. Yeah, someone might hop out the boat. You know, a lot of girls like to take pictures, you know, in the water, and so do guys, but you know, girls want to take pictures in the water. Half a second, you might hop out the boat and be like, oh, I'm snapping this picture of myself or of someone else, but as soon as I get back in the boat, I'm putting my phone up and I'm getting back in the water and I'm hanging out with my friends.
Oh, that's interesting. Bigger boats have to park.
Hudson also talked
now
about
further
realizing
out, like
none
towards
of
the ocean or towards like the island. It's like towards the west or east part of the island. Do you mean deeper out into the ocean? Just to get you correctly on that, Alan, because that's kind of curious.
Knew where Nolan was later that evening and how he was the first one to call Nolan's mother and alert authorities.
And all my friends were just hanging out, and my buddy Wyatt had addressed, you know, talking about Nolan, and I was like, well, where is Nolan? Have y'all heard from him? And he was like, no, we haven't. And I was like, okay, well, it's a little concerning.
No, Elizabeth, it was found actually reversed. The boat was more inlet. We showed a couple of shots and then maybe it'll pop up again. His body was found like right at the tip, which looks more like where Katie's boat, Dad's boat was. Again, just playing both sides because, again, it's really one of these groups is not telling the truth.
Like, I mean, I'm not freaking out or anything, but like, I'm trying to find out where Nolan is. So I texted Javon and I was like, hey, and also a couple other buddies that I had at the island. I was like, hey, have y'all seen Nolan? Did he ride in with y'all? And all the buddies were like, no. Well, I texted Javon and I was like, hey, can you send me Miss Christine's number? Because I haven't heard from Nolan. And if she hasn't heard from Nolan, then I'm calling the Coast Guard. And so eventually,
I mean, I don't know when this interview was done. I mean, that's an interesting observation, SoCal. I mean, I give you that. Again, I mean, is this week's out? I don't know. And maybe Buck would know this when this interview was done.
Javon sends me her number. I call Miss Christine. Called her the first time. She didn't answer.
Yeah, it's going to be one or the other.
Time, and I got on the phone with her, and I asked her if she had heard from Nolan. She said no. And I said, all right, well, don't freak out. I'm going to call the Coast Guard. And this was at about 11 o'clock.
So what's your intent in calling the Coast Guard, right? Because right now, Nolan could be with a chick. He could be with somebody else.
Right.
He could have gone back with somebody else. What made you concerned enough that you felt like you couldn't weigh it out anymore? You had to call the Coast Guard.
Well, I mean, like I said, my friends and I have been on the water our whole life. Stuff happens. People die all the time. I know people that have died out there. And, it's a fun place to be, but it's also a very, very dangerous place to be if you're not handling it right. I mean, I would rather call the Coast Guard 100 times and lose my mind over it and my buddy be okay than,
I don't know. When I first watched that, I was a little sus, but then watching it a few more times, again, I can't imagine being in that position. And of course, for those that have been following this case, again, I'm still just digging in. But clearly, with NAACP, all that, there's a lot of heat on this case. But for him to come out and do that,
on the Oasis.
Man.
But as it got dark and there was no sign of Wells, the 18-year-old's mother called to report him missing at around
one thing
midnight.
to have your sister claim that, speaking of Katie's sister, come out and do a Facebook thing or whatever that was on, I don't know, Twitter or whatever, and say, she said that he left and, we're cooperating with law enforcement, right? I mean, we've heard other factions say that we're working with law enforcement, but come to find out that's not entirely true.
According to WLOX, a U.S. Park Service ranger recovered Wells' body off the northwestern tip of the island 2 days later. In a press conference at the annual NAACP National Convention in Chicago on July 22nd, Crump revealed that an autopsy performed by Dr. Roger Mitchell, president of the National Medical Association, found Wells' cause and manner of death as, quote, undetermined pending investigation, but that he, quote, cannot rule out if any intervening non-accidental factors contributed to or caused the death of Nolan Wells.
Let's see. Speaking of this, so earlier, Buck, you mentioned something. Is it in this post here, or is it actually in a video by Tatum? If you could let me know about the Coca-Cola issue, which I mean, doesn't surprise me. Teenagers having a party, stuff going around. Anyway, okay, so he interviews a doctor, a chief medical examiner, about the autopsies. This is from Tatum. He says the significance of the reddened area behind his back of his head. Again, that's also what people are kind of raising red flags to, is whether if this shows some kind of foul play or him hitting his head, or is this something more that we kind of really don't understand, that it's just from maybe a post-mortem body laying down and blood pooling. Clarifies why the neck structures were retained during the second autopsy. Describing this as standard practice, as microscopic examination. We talked about that. Conversation covers how decomposition can affect toxicology results. And it'll take 6 to 8 weeks to process. So, okay. So I said 4 to 6. So 6 to 8. So where we're at, we're just hitting 4 weeks. So yeah, we may have another month till that comes out. Oh, Crazy Buck. Latest video he dropped earlier. Okay. We'll save that for last then.
Even though it tells us significant information, we still have more questions than we have answers at this time.
In results presented to the standing room, still pending when the preliminary...
District 8 toxicologist, pathologist, and neuropathologist, because everybody's taking heat. They're probably afraid to even walk to their car.
It does sound...
Yeah, for anybody that's new to this case, death threats, anybody involved, you name it, the family themselves, death threats. I mean, which is just so sad to hear. Like everybody and their dog is getting death threats. That's why it's like, I don't know. Sometimes social media can be a double-edged sword.
Like a tinderbox out there. Yeah, no, I would... I certainly wouldn't want to be involved in that investigation myself as well. So these can get pretty heated pretty
Dr.
quickly.
Coyne, sadly, you're getting dragged into it right now.
She's like, no.
Dr. Coyne, I need to talk to you about the body. And I'm going to circle back, everybody, to the mystery Katie girl.
Yeah, let me just get to the part where she talks about, because I've already explained what they took. As long as preliminary, or the first autopsy, they took a lot of the stuff. That second autopsy, they couldn't really do a lot because of that.
They think you drowned. But why the throat? Why has the initial medical examiner kept the throat?
Well, I'll say anytime that you investigate a drowning, it's considered to be a diagnosis of exclusion, right? So you have to figure out why a person went into the water in the first place and why they couldn't get out. And let's assume, in this case, there was trauma that happened to a person, or something that prevented him from getting out of the water.
Oh, well, thank you, Elizabeth.
If there was, let's say, a battery or a fight that occurred, perhaps with injury to him and to his person, if a person, let's say, was maybe strangled or there was injury to the neck, if a person's been in the body of water for several days, especially floating face down, there's probably going to be some considerable decomposition. And one of the ways that we determine if there's trauma to the neck or
because there would be maybe marine life that maybe, depending on how long he's been in the water, would maybe kind of, if he's floating face down. Heard that in a prior case before.
If there has been, like, say, strangulation, is if there are hemorrhage in the neck muscles surrounding the airway, and if there's fractures to the cartilage and bones that are within the neck. But if there's some considerable decomposition, the blood that's within the major neck vessels can begin to leak out into the surrounding muscles and make it very difficult for you to differentiate actual hemorrhage from artifact of decomposition. So what they may be doing is preserving the neck itself to digest away all of those tissues, to really examine the bones, the hyoid bone, and the tracheal cartilage to get a better idea of whether or not there's any trauma or fracturing to those structures. That's the only thing I can think of that why you would want to keep those particular structures. Understand that there's no significant or no specific finding at autopsy that allows you to diagnose drowning.
Okay, if you're just coming in, we have gone over some of this stuff here, and again, this is my first time covering it on this channel, so I went through kind of the basic timeline. I know it's kind of 4 weeks out now, but there is an interview that we'll dive into that I believe, from what I understand, thanks to Crazy Buck in here, that they talk about, I'm assuming, talk about some of the stuff that was going on at this little get together. Again, I'm just theorizing based off what you said a little bit earlier, and possible rugs that had been used, Coca-Cola and stuff like that. But yeah.
The lungs.
So the other part I wanted to play is she asked him about this, because I don't think it was in the first autopsy, but the second autopsy. Oh, and there it is. Second autopsy, which obviously they couldn't do much because most of the organs are gone, and of course the throat. So stuff of looking into drowning is not going to really help them, or strangulation, because the first medical examiners got that stuff wherever. But they did examine like the skull, and they put this off, saying that there was weird red coloration on the skin.
Of movement of water into the lungs, if this was a body that was thrown into the water after death, or a person who actively drowned. And so I don't know why they're saving the lungs, but the neck structures, I can make the argument that they're trying to get a better look at the neck cartilage, as well as the bone, the hyoid bone in the neck.
808, aloha.
That means at that point, we're responsible for you.
But Todd, here's my issue.
Okay, so here's the phone again. This kind of points a little bit of shade at the friends, but again, I kind of explained, glass half full. But let's listen to this. And then coming up, I have all the videos of the footage that I know of. Again, I'm sure there'll be more that surfaces. I found a drone shot that says it's from July 4th. I don't know if it's from the same year. I'm assuming it is. I would love to put them all together so we could get an understanding, but I I think I kind of have an idea of at least where his group, Nolan's group, was at versus Katie and her boat was at, which seems like it was more closer to where his body was found. And yeah, and anyway, there were some interesting things that I wanted to point out with all the videos put together.
Again, I agree with what you said, but the critical moment is somebody had to leave him there alone for the rest of the scenario that you're describing to unfold. He had to be alone. And
yeah, so there's this video here, which does look like there are more, again, for anybody that's just coming in, kind of wondering, need to have like this map ready. So again, his body was found here face down right at the tip. Again, just kind of get your bearings here. Mississippi. Again, we got Florida. And this is where they partied. They came out of this area here, is kind of inlet, where the boat comes out. And I'm assuming they were parked somewhere like here. I'll have to pull up that image I got. See if I got it here. Yeah, right here. Yeah, it's approximately 5.2 miles away. And then it also seems like, so looks like it curves up and around. So actually they were more inland than that. I don't know if that's inland, but more east on the island. But yeah, here's this video, and there again, we don't know if this is like actually even true about if this is Nolan or whatnot. But this definitely looks more like they're more, you know, not in the middle of the island, but more definitely closer to the middle. Which does line up with what where the phone call record came from. I just realized something. Is that their boat right here? Two white Mercuries. Nah, it's got a barbecue on the end. I don't think that's the same one.
that is from Anna Moore on Snapchat. And
I can't tell, it's too far away, but in that video, I feel like the voices are too clear, like from the side. It's too clear for it to be that far away, for it to be Nolan.
Yeah, that is also weird, SoCal. Again,
like
for sure.
Friend that got into the altercation on the boat. And they were trying to, like, as he was in that altercation, I was calming him down. They were trying to get him out off the island. They were trying to get him back to land because he was just losing it.
Okay, give me my effing phone. This is Nolan reportedly talking. What the F are you doing? The friend, they claim, Tristan Shepard. I can't tell that from what I'm hearing. The friend says, get off me. Get the F off this boat. F you, bro. Now, the voice we believe is Nolan's is, give my effing phone. What the F are you doing?
Well, we don't know that.
And then another voice, get off me. Get the F off this boat. F you. Okay. What do we know?
Because I could not find the boat.
Becker, joining us in New York Post. Who is this mysterious friend girl? Because I want to talk to her.
I want to talk to her too, Nancy. The video is tough. The Snapchat is really tough because
okay, perfect.
You do clearly hear an angry altercation. There is the assumption that we're working off of that it is Nolan. However, a few other friends have confirmed it's not Nolan. There's actually someone who said it was me, not him. So you have someone coming forward saying that is not him on the video. So then did no altercation actually take place, or is someone jumping in saying that's me
Yeah, to Suzuki.
to misdirect or to redirect us from looking at it? That's the one question. The other question that you asked is, who's the girl? Her name is apparently, allegedly, Katie. That's kind of all we know, just Katie. Someone purporting to be related to Katie went on social media, and this is not something that they've been able to confirm.
So here, that's what I was talking about. Remember how someone said, oh, that guy's wearing his thing, but you can clearly see here
Have investigators confirmed it, but according to this person, Katie said, we met, we talked, he seemed like he was going back on the boat with his friends, and that was that. So Katie,
Okay, hold on
Katie's
right
side of
there.
the story-
Caitlin Becker. Caitlin. Right there. The girl, if she exists, says they talked, they chatted
Yeah,
up.
I'm going to definitely play that
probably flirting with
here in
each
just
other,
a bit.
if the
Deborah,
accounts are true.
Yeah, Deborah.
Then he leaves to go back to the boat with his friends. But according to the friends, he stayed with her. Right there, that is a conflict.
Yeah.
That doesn't fit. Now, Caitlin Becker and the rest of the panel, I want you to hear this.
Is that Nolan in the video?
I can't tell. It's too far away. But in that video, I feel like the voices are too clear. Like from the side, it's too clear for it to be that far away, for it to be Nolan arguing. And then also that altercation, it sounds just like my other friend that got into the altercation on the boat. And they were trying to, like, as he was in that altercation, I was calming him down. They were trying to get him out off the island. They were trying to get him back to land because he was just losing it.
Okay, that his phone has been tampered with and items have been deleted. Explain.
They had his phone.
So this is where, yeah, I'll play it.
And when his mother was looking for his phone when he was missing, there were two different ways to identify it, either a Snapchat location or a Life 360 location. They showed different locations, which is very possible because one updates automatically, the other only updates when you open the app. But when she finally tracked it down, she says there was nothing on it from that day. And this is a teenager. This is a teenager who is constantly on their phones. Yes, when you're on a boat like this and you're out there, you leave it on the boat because you can't really get it wet and you don't want to have it come to the beach with you because you have to actually go in the water to get there. But to have the phone from these friends who didn't willingly turn it over, didn't give it to investigators, didn't give it to his mom, just had it, and for her to open it up and say, I see nothing from that day, no Snapchats, no photos, it looked like things were missing, like there was a gap in the timeline of the life cycle of his phone.
Okay, devil's advocate. Other side, they left pretty early. The phone would have been, sounds like they put their phones in a little box or whatever so they don't get wet. He leaves his phone in there, parties, meets the girl, something happens, the guys leave, but he wants to stay. They leave, and then maybe have no idea that the phone is with them until they grab all the phones. The friend even said that in the interview, that sometimes they don't know whose phones they have. So then if that was the case, then yeah, there wouldn't really be anything on it because he never really had it really to begin with because,
Okay, I've got another problem.
Didn't want to
regarding
get
his
in it
phone.
wet, and then he went out and partied on the beach or on the island, and then something bad happened, and then so nothing would be on the phone. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it.
Well, number one, to Dr. Janie Lacey, joining us, licensed psychotherapist, CEO of Life Counseling Solutions, author of, many books, but How to Heal from a Toxic Relationship, and Dr. Janie, who leaves their phone behind? Now, who leaves dry bags? We need it out in the middle of nowhere, and we were on a little strip of land right off the Gulf. I'm an adult.
His phone is with him in his pocket all the time, and he even brings his phone.
Now the question is was there actually deleted stuff on there, or was that a misconception? and that was kind of either twisted or purposely put out there, but that was false. Again, just playing both sides.
Phone to the bathroom. So we know that teens do not leave their phone. It is their way to communicate. It is
This is a different
attached to them.
circumstance.
So when I think about what we're talking about right here is concealment. And I can't speak to what these young people did, but I can tell you, especially young people, when it comes to their phone and they're constantly posting things, it is their norm. So when it comes to deleting, hiding, or even going silent after.
And here's another thing is like, is that misleading? Because again, we don't, I'm not calling the parents liars or anything, but could it be maybe misleading that maybe there were a few things, but maybe they've deemed them irrelevant, and they're really taking the time frame of when he was like supposed to be out there and after, and there's like nothing.
A tragedy. To me, it's almost always driven by fear of potential blame, fear of consequences, fear of what the truth might mean about themselves. But we know that secrets don't protect, and when teens don't have their phone,
unless it's like Snapchat or something, they would be they'd be able to go back and grab that. If there was any text messages between the girlfriend or in the friends, right? Unless it's Snapchat. I haven't used Snapchat in like so long, so I don't know if there's ways around that. But yeah, if that's regular text messaging, even if those things were deleted, they'd just be able to, we've seen that in the Madeline Soto case. Obviously, one guy reset his phone. They were able to just recover everything, terrible things.
Or when their phone potentially is taken from their friends. We know that there's a reason behind that. It's usually driven by fear, Nancy.
Okay, I got another issue. Caitlin Becker joining us with New York Post. Caitlin, the Life 360 seems to show something very different than other digital evidence. What do you know about that discrepancy?
It comes down to location, where the Life 360 shows him on dry land versus where the Snapchat showed him in the water, where he was and where the phone was positioned. So that is something that I think forensic investigators have to look into, digital forensic investigators, because it's difficult to determine from looking at it from our perspective, where was the phone actually? Was it out on the water at the last time it was used? Was it on dry land at the last time it was used? And when his mom went to go pick it up, who was the last person to have used it? That's something that sticks out to me because I have to imagine it was password protected. And
well, there you go. And someone just put it right there, password protected. Yeah.
Why would someone else have his password? But it seems as though his mom did, or that they did, so they were able to get into the phone. So the timeline of his disappearance is a big question mark because you're getting two different locations from two different apps.
To stay with his group.
Yeah, I need to look into that. All right, we'll do the interview coming up here in just a minute. If you guys can, if you haven't already, hit that like button. It's kind of nice just to have a smaller crowd, and nice to just cover a different case for a change. And I do appreciate everybody being in here and helping me out because, again, especially a case like this where it's 4 weeks out, and you're just starting to deep dive, and there's just so many, like the phone call, like I could spend hours trying to get to the original and then play with that, try to do my own enhanced or whatever, to see, what, and then, yeah.
So why would he split from his group? I don't know.
We went in his Snapchat. He had 2 accounts, absolutely nothing. It wasn't even 24 hours, which is how long videos and pictures stay in Snapchat. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes.
And this is a mother and father, correct? Right? I always kind of think this is the sister or something because she looks very young.
Goes and he's having fun, like. He does videos, like there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos, and even my sister was like, yeah, that's suspicious,
Michael.
That is Nolan's family, the family lawyer with our friends at GMA and PBS. Caitlin Postcast.
Okay.
And he's saying it is not Nolan's character to have stayed behind to start with, or much less without his phone. He identifies the conflict that we have identified tonight between the two stories. The dad insists he would never have parted with all of his friends. And last but not least, we're hearing not only did Snapchats disappear, but that Nolan was a videographer, a photographer. He always took pictures.
Didn't they just say that there was nothing deleted? There's just nothing on it? I think she just got twisted right there.
Did Snapchats disappear, but that Nolan he would never have parted with all of his friends. And last but not least, we're hearing not only did Snapchats disappear, but that Nolan was
I think she just misunderstood what they just said.
A videographer, a photographer. He always took pictures of the fun times he was having, moments with his friends.
You let me down, Grace.
Games, the whole shebang. But they're all gone. There are not any. I also find that disturbing, Caitlin.
It's a little odd that there was nothing on the phone seemingly from that day. That does strike me as odd. I do.
No, I only mentioned because the mom said there was just nothing on it and it would delete after 24 hours. Because I forget that's how it works is Snapchat. Because again, I don't use that stuff. But teenagers do because send stuff, whatever. And then after, 24 hours again, anybody uses it, then the stuff deletes. She said, well, nothing would have been deleted because it hadn't been a full 24 hours since they had recovered the phone. Again, unless there's an extended version of that where I missed the mother saying that, correct me if I'm wrong.
Want to push back a little or set the stage a little bit for what this day was like. There were multiple boats going out at the same time to this island. They were filling up with a few teens. They left. The next group kind of got in. This is per the reporting and per what some of the witnesses said. There was maybe a couple hundred people on that island that day. That a lot of them were young. It was supposed to be some big kind of summer extravagant, went back to with his friends, or he didn't intend to go back with his friends on one. Where I get stuck is the point that Ben Crump made. Why would he let his phone go back with his friends? Sure, you want to stay.
Unless you forgot, again, playing devil's advocate, unless you're so just fixated on what the girl you're with, spending time, and then figure, I'm going to get a ride out anyway, and I'll go pick it back up. But then, yeah, same thing. It is a decent argument to say, yeah, I mean, we go everywhere with our phones are right next to us, so it is a legit question.
And go back with another group. I get that. You heard, the person who was part of the search saying that's not uncommon.
Yeah,
it does sound uncommon for anyone, a teenager, an adult, anyone to say, okay, go ahead and take my phone back with
Elizabeth.
you. I'll stay without a means of communication for however long. That's what gets me. Why?
So this is where I overlap the videos, and then we'll play this new interview here. Yeah, no, this overhead rigging or whatever you call it. Is this part of this boat? No, it's not. That's part of the next boat. Never mind. But yeah, Mercury. And you said they were different motors.
That is from Anna Moore on Snapchat. And
I can tell it's too far away, but in that video, I feel like the voices are too clear, like from the side. It's too clear for it to be that far away, for it to be Nolan arguing. And then also that altercation, it sounds...
Yeah, well, the altercation says, something about the boat. So obviously it happened on the boat.
Just like my other friend that got into the altercation on the boat. And they were trying to, as he was in that altercation, I was calming him down. They were trying to get him out off the island. They were trying to get him back to land because he was just losing it.
Okay. So now I'm going to overlap the videos real quick. So I'm going to go full screen here and show you guys all 3 videos, see if you guys see anything, and then we'll listen to this new interview that apparently gives more insight onto what was going on land. And again, I think it still just comes down to you got the friends versus this girl. Someone's not being honest. I mean, maybe it kind of could be a combination, but something isn't adding up. Yeah, so Mercury. What? 2 engines. 2 motors. These are just people I don't even recognize. So anyway, I thought maybe that was the boat because it kind of lines up with some of the stuff, but then I noticed there's some other things on the boat that it is not. So here's the boat. So anybody that's coming in a little bit late, this is footage of them just after they had called the CETO dispatch, and there are 7 people. There's actually 8 people total. There's actually an individual right behind this guy. You can kind of make them out, which makes it 8. This guy here could just be one of the CETO sounds weird to say together. Company to help them out because I mean he's kind of standing up and maybe he's trying to grab like either rope or rigging or whatever to help them. But anyway, the boat, it's got this trim, this like black trim, and then I wanted to look at the engine. I keep seeing engine, motor. Yeah, he's got it up. Yeah, you're right. It is a Suzuki. It's not okay. So, yeah, so it's definitely none of these boats that I see. So that has like, that's not the same boat. So that's not the same trim. Not the same boat. This doesn't have the same trim. So this isn't the boat. A lot of them look the same. The motor's not the same boat. But this is more inland, or I keep wanting to say that. Any way I could describe it, more east, towards the middle of the Horn Island, clearly, where they were allegedly docked at. But I cannot find this boat. And then here is Tristan, and this is Little Daddy, and thanks to Crazy Buck. This is allegedly Katie's dad's boat. Kind of. And one thing to note here is when it pans, although it's not the best, like zoomed out, but we don't see any more really other boats past here, which tells me that this is likely towards the east western part of basically the tip where his body was found. So again, it's kind of, again, I think this gives more credibility to the friends where, here is Nolan, being seen for the last time, sadly, that we know of right now. With allegedly until we can 100% confirm, but it does make sense. This would be with Katie, this girl he met, and then that's her dad's boat, and then she was with her brother, and the brother had his fiance with them. But we don't see any other boats out this way. When we see all the other videos, we can see like boats all around. So this tells me this is like more on the tip of the island. But yeah, once again, here is Because I was trying to find like any of these boats, like match them up with the videos, and I could not find one to match up with, at least for now. Again, I've only had like a few hours at this. Trying to kind of like get my bearings on if we could find any common ground between all the videos that have been kind of put out there so far by different people that are out there. But like I said, in this video, you can clearly see that there's tons of more boats when we start to pan west. And yeah, I don't see their boat in that. So let's. Oh, the shorts. Uncles with his Uncle Susan. Yeah, I'm still trying to learn all the names. Tristan, that's Tristan Shepard. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'm still trying to learn everybody's names. Okay. Let's look at this video here. And again, thank you to Buck for sending this to me. Appreciate it.
My Blue Chew Gold just kicked in. Sir, that is always an immediate yes for me. My husband has been initiating in the bedroom again, and it is.
And so he just released this. Oh, okay. Oh, no. I don't want any copyrighted music. Is it him, just him talking?
Like low-hanging fruit because they reported he was missing. They seen him on a day of the thing. Y'all just jumping into conclusions, making it about them. And with the information that I got today, and I really been holding some of it for the last several days, I just needed to verify a few things, that people should have been going in another direction.
Yeah. I mean, that happens in a lot of these cases too. Like, certain topics get brought up, like that phone call, the call, and then, people start enhancing it, whatever, and start allegedly hearing things that, it does sound like they're saying Nolan, but again, it could be something completely different. That's why I will eventually get my hands on it. If anybody knows where I can find the original that has not been tampered with, I'll be happy to try to break it down. But let's see what he says here. I'll try not to play everything because, again, he just put this out.
Instead of wasting time with these boys that I had already been vindicated. Let's go to the tow call, and this is on Nancy Grace's show. And hopefully I get an opportunity to talk to Nancy Grace about this, because I just feel like you have to be very mindful and doing due diligence before you put these things out on the internet, given the fact of the confusion that it could cause. Just real quick, this is why I don't believe that. I think people are hearing what they want to hear and not what is said. Either this is doctored, or people are hearing things that they want to hear and not what's said.
Oh, back it up some? Oh, okay. Oh, yep. Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Okay.
All you got to do is go to synergylife.com, synergylife.com. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I need to address something real quick before I get to this news that was just presented to me, which could allude to potential foul play against Nolan Wells. And let me just say this right off the bat. There's alcohol involved. What is being told to me that 100% there's cocaine involved. There's multiple people involved. People that may have seen Nolan last, but is not being truthful and coming forward as to what they saw, who was with him last, and we have very.
To me, I'm already getting vibes that Kitty may not be telling the truth. Again, you have one of the friends that came out, I mean, on his show. You got to give him some points for doing that, especially with how heated this case is and everybody and their dog, including the family members, getting death threats. So
various people that have come out or come to us with the information, and one was sent in a DM honing in on one particular person that may have been in an altercation with Nolan. Now, this
Alan, I don't know if he's I don't know if you're talking about him. I don't think he's mentioning it being doctored. I think he's saying like, hey, you make, because if you put subtitles and there's something that's kind of garbled, and then again you put subtitles on it, after the live it'll hit me. There's a word for it. I can't think of the word. Where basically, I'm kind of conditioning you, or whoever's putting the subtitles out, whoever's putting this out first with subtitles, I was kind of conditioning it, and it's already kind of burning in your brain that this is what is being said, although it could have been, something completely different.
This appears to be post the phone call and the boys that I talked to who had already left. And I've been telling people that it appears that the young men that I interviewed had nothing to do with this. And the sentiment still continues. I have names. I know who these people are. My goal with this is to present it to law enforcement before I say anybody's name. But I'm going to let you guys know what I have heard so you can have a perspective, because when the autopsy comes out, or at least the toxicology results comes out, it's going to prove whether or not people are saying things to me that are not true, or the sources that I believe are verified are accurate. Before we get to that, I need to follow up and dispel this mythical phone call, because I think people are still pushing this. And I've been telling you guys from the very beginning that I think that they're pushing people in the wrong direction. When you get information that leads you to believe that this group of people had nothing to do with it, you need to move on and look at other leads. And I feel like in this case, people are so hell-bent on making it about race and making it specifically about these white boys like low-hanging fruit because they reported he was missing. They seen him on the day of the thing. Y'all just jumping into conclusions, making it about them. Oh, and this is on Nancy Grace's show. And hopefully I get an opportunity to talk to Nancy Grace about this, because I just feel like...
I don't want to play his entire life because, again, I try to respect other people's content, and especially if it just came out, but we'll play a little bit.
Have to be very mindful. It's an impossibility that someone can be talking about Nolan being dead if he's seen alive after this. And I'm being told in some of the things that I've seen is that people have seen him alive right before 6 p.m.
Now, if that's true, I mean, that'll change the game. 100%.
Which is over an hour after this happened. All right, let's get to the clip.
Maybe that's why we're not seeing any videos or, beyond, because it is weird that, like they said, a lot of people, I mean, you do see people out there with their phones. Like, if we went back and watched some of those clips where they're panning around the beach, one where there's like the alleged kind of fight or something going on. Like, you can see people even in the water, they got their phones out. Not everybody, but yeah, it's kind of strange. All of a sudden, like, after 4 p.m. or whatever, nothing's coming out.
And we're going to further dispel this with TMZ's reporting as well. Roll it.
Imagine being able to build.
I mean, keep in mind, SoCal, I mean, we still don't know everything. Again, but as I have learned covering true crime, just you always got to try to keep an open mind and not get tunnel visioned on one side. I mean, unless it's clearly just, overwhelming evidence. But I think the phone call, obviously, with it being, it's edited, it's clearly edited, and I'm not saying edited to trick people, it's edited to try to clear up what's being said, but can that be misconstrued? Nolan, could they, be something else that's being said that sounds like Nolan, right?
An app with your name on.
Oh, sorry. Let me blare this commercial for you. But I won't argue with you there, although, so just in my position covering Sebastian Rogers, obviously I had my sources, and the second I heard my sources and they kind of started confirming those, obviously that pushed me on one side, because it was clear, so do keep that in mind, like wherever he's going with the sources, and then, if they start kind of panning out, he gets told one thing, he kind of verifies it a little bit, that pans out, and then, more and more, and they keep, whatever his sources, which are like the friends or whatever, and they keep panning out, then, hey, I mean, you can't argue with him with kind of going that one side of the narrative. Again, I'm just speaking from, I doubt maybe, and that kind of shows maybe why maybe it's harder to find what's going on the other camp, with Katie and the people that were on the beach after they left, right? So again, that's just kind of my 2 cents on it. But I'm curious to hear what he says, because, again, being in a small position like his with having sources, and especially if they do start panning out, and you tend to kind of believe that side, and then, yeah, it seems like he's getting more.
Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Okay,
But I want you guys to go back, and I want.
Detail assistance, Vicky.
So I think all this is real, because I've heard like the garbled version, but it's like a small part of it. For anybody that hasn't heard it, it's very garbled compared to like what Nancy Guthrie, and dyslexia, Nancy Grace put out. And again, it's not saying that they're doing that on purpose, they're editing. I think it's just the subtitles of what they believe they're hearing could be deceiving.
He's speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our bilge pump.
I mean, no, don't die could be the bulge pump or the bilge pump, sorry, or the motor. I don't know if that's one and the same. I have no idea, nothing about boats.
Stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course.
I think it'd be really ballsy to call while you're trying to cover up a crime. Like, people are shouting in the background. Like, I don't know. Not to say that hasn't happened, because stranger shit has happened in cases like this. Dumb stuff people do.
How far is the work coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
Ankles? Isn't that angles?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
Okay.
Dave Mack.
I'm trying to help us not get.
Let's just hear what he's got to say on this, because I'm curious, because like I said, I think, he put out that video that does kind of prove, like, hey, there's the boys, there's 7 people on board, maybe 8, just like they said. I know it's not a lot, it's a short video, but it does add a little bit of legitimacy to theirs. And I tried to look for any kind of like blood or anything, and I know, because it's been out for about not 24, well, yeah, probably 24 hours by now, and I couldn't find anything that looked like, they had like, again, it's just a small boat, but I didn't see anything like blood. But again, maybe if it's strangulation, there wouldn't be blood.
Too caught up and and people look like fools. So now go to the TMZ article.
Ankles and
real quick, the TMZ presentation.
Shows you I'm not a boat
TMZ played this, all of the above. Y'all were DMing me to death about this on TMZ. Let me just read this real quick from what TMZ said. Evidence appears to show Nolan
and this
Wells
comes from
was still on Horn
TMZ, so this is not even him. That's big. We'll have to look. I'm sure there's got to be something with TMZ. We're going to have to look up TMZ after this.
Island when his friend's boats left. TMZ has learned. Sources with direct knowledge of the investigation claim authorities have evidence of Nolan being on the Mississippi Barrier Island. Let's see, after the boat.
Sources claim authorities have evidence of Nolan being on the Mississippi Barrier Island. What is that? Do we still have our good friend Alan in the chat? Barrier Island? There's Ship Island, Cat Island. Barrier Island? Is there something I'm missing here? Wait, they went in through here. Is there a little island that I don't know about? Barrier Island. Anybody? And I could probably just Google this, which I probably will. Mississippi Barrier.
Departed on the 4th of July, which will be a huge development. We're told that at least 2 witnesses who were interviewed by law enforcement say that they saw Nolan on the island after the boat headed back to the mainland.
Oh.
That's significant for many reasons.
Oh, it's just a
now, what do you guys got to say about this?
Okay. Yeah, I live in Utah. I don't live yeah. Yeah, I've only been to the ocean once my entire life, so okay. I got you. So Barrier Island is just a general phrase of those islands. Gotcha. So you're still technically, I'm assuming, on the Horn Island.
Yes. TMZ, who put it out, reiterated that there's people that are saying they saw Nolan afterwards. It continues. TMZ enhanced the audio of Nolan's friend's frantic call for help when their boat was sinking, and people believe you can hear someone saying, "Is he dead?" But our sources tell us people on the boat have heard the enhanced audio and are telling people around them the audio is only panic from a boat sinking.
That's what I was saying. Like, no, don't die. Like, and that could almost sound like Nolan, don't die. Like, no, don't die. Like they're talking about the motor. Yeah, again, it's just getting, and people got worked up because people are hearing these edited phone calls that are not, I'm sure, again, when they're trying to edit enhances and they weren't doing this, to deceive people. I just think they were trying to enhance. And then, of course, your mind starts hearing certain words, certain phrases. And then, of course, with Nolan, you got that in your mind. And so you're going to, anything that might sound like Nolan, but like, no, man, don't die, no, man. And then it kind of sounds like Nolan.
If you put that in context, you can see exactly what's going on. Now, let's move on, because I was given this video. And here's a video of the actual boat as they're getting towed out. Do you see Nolan on this boat whatsoever?
No. And they seem pretty calm for if they just, because I mean, this would have been just right after they would have allegedly dumped him. And it wouldn't have been far off because you could see Horn Island out there. I mean, I'm sure if I ran this through AI, it'd kind of give me an idea. I mean, yeah, so yeah, I think the whole friends thing is looking less and less likely. And now whatever, and maybe it's not Katie, maybe it could be others, but I don't know. But then Katie said she saw her Nolan get on the boat, so I don't know. She's number one for me, in my opinion. Now,
I did this so we can get context. Now, the nut job lunatics that want to believe what they want to believe, don't worry about them. I'm talking of those of us who really care about getting to the bottom of this. And just hold on with me, because we got to get to the new stuff that that I just heard before we run out of time.
Remind me, TMZ. I gotta
So
look
that's
that
a
up.
video of that. Now let me present something else to you, because this is a video of what it looked like.
Right,
and
Alan.
Nolan
Yes,
is
thanks,
in
buddy.
this video. We'll put the video up. Nolan is in this video. Put it on the screen. Pause it right here.
Whoa. Wait, what? Is that Nolan? Yoink. Okay, so that's a different boat. We'll have to look at that in a minute. Looks like he's got glasses on, right? Oh, Dane, you missed quite a bit. Maybe I'll try to recap a little bit. Yeah, cat and hat. Again, keep in mind, it's my first time deep diving into this case, so I was trying to grab both angles and get the full context. Because again, for anybody that hasn't heard of this case, there's so many facets going on. But I think we're starting to kind of cancel out one faction, because it really comes down to the friends and this girl, and then maybe who else she's associated with that's back at the beach or the island. And yeah.
So this was sent to us as well. I'm sure this video is circulating anyway. If you look at the boy in the blue shorts, right where his butt is at.
Nolan's in the water.
You move over at the edge of the boat in his butt, and that's actually Nolan standing in the water right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, because the hair, I'm like, I don't see the hair. Yeah, right there. Okay, is this the one that was like the argument was going on?
I have the team play the video and pan it so you can see what environment they were in. Similarly, when the boat began to sink. Roll the clip.
Oh, no, this is different. Oh, yeah, Suzuki. So that is, okay, yeah, that's the Suzuki. Oh, yeah, they're much more away from the island. Carmen. Oh, man, I can't wait to go through this.
Pause. Do you guys see how many people are out there?
Yes. Exactly my point I've been trying to point out is, yeah, when it pans, when he's looking west, there's a shit ton of more boats. But then when we see Nolan with the girl, they're clearly at the tip. For anybody that's kind of missed out, man, that was interesting. Yeah. So anyway, they're docked. Nolan and his group are like somewhere kind of probably like in the middle. I think it's like kind of right here. And then, but yeah, you can see all the boats because they go all the way out here. But his body was found over here. And then coincidentally, at least till more stuff comes out, the one little video that shows Nolan on this boat, when you look west, there's no more other boats, as if they're at the edge. So again, that adds more to it. That's interesting. Oh, thank you, Kai Kai. Yeah. Oh, this is... I'm so grateful to people in the chat, because they're really helping me out. Because, again, it's a lot to take on. But there's a ton of stuff coming out, like, even as we speak.
You guys see how many people are out there? Play it again.
Okay, let me go full screen so you guys can see it. That way I can record this too. Because I haven't seen this on Twitter. Maybe I'll find it, because I'm trying to put all the videos together to kind of get an understanding of where everybody's at. I mean, we kind of know, but like, I don't know. Just you guys know me. I love video. Love the video evidence. All right, let me hit record here. Okay.
You guys see how many boats are out there? So this is where the boat is at when they begin to become distressed.
That's interesting. So they're saying like Nolan is like right here, because that does look like his hair right in the water. Oh, it does look like. Tell me, any boat people, does that look like like? Does that look like it's normal, or is that already starting to take a little water on? Is that what he's? Yeah, because they are kind of back there. I don't know. It's tough to say if they were working on it or not.
Right in this area. As you can see how close they are to the land. You can see where the coordinates were at. Right there. So when they're taking in water, when their boat is beginning to sink because it's anchored, it's happening right there. So for somebody to believe that this dispatch
that's
call
strong.
Is a desperate call with Nolan laying dead in the middle of their boat, that does not make sense. And to think that nobody saw it when they're entangled within all these people, I think is a disservice. We need to get to the information that I heard. We'll get to Miss Rachel and her silly self. And Judge Mathis. We'll get to Judge Mathis. But what I was told, and you guys, please take in consideration that it's reliable sources. However, the only way to prove the truth in this is if I see it with my own eyes, if the law enforcement have the investigation of this, and also when the toxicology results come out. But people are messaging me and telling me that there is heavy drinking and there's cocaine involved. And there's a particular person whom I know this person's name. I'm not going to disclose it. I'm going to go to the police first, and then I will disclose it if it doesn't interfere in the investigation. But this person allegedly was offering people cocaine, and someone close to Nolan, one of his friends, told me that this person was offered cocaine and rejected it from this person. And I was also told, and this person told me that it's over 100% chance that Nolan was using cocaine during this period of time. This person said it was 150% sure that when the toxicology comes back, that Nolan will have cocaine in his system. Now, again, taking into consideration, this is somebody telling me this. I'm not saying it's me. I'm not saying it. I'm not able to verify it. But from the sources that I'm getting it from has been consistent, verifiable sources thus far, and hadn't been wrong about nothing. So there's a possibility that there's a person that Nolan may have been around or interacted with that is giving cocaine to the people on this island, that Nolan may have taken the cocaine. And then also, I received a DM.
At the start of the game, you can choose any shelter you want.
Man, that flips everything on its head, that's for sure. We'll play a little bit more. I don't want to play everything of his because, again, I try to respect.
Another person. Now, I'm trying to leave these names out because I want to not mess this investigation up. I think law enforcement already have this. That alluded to the fact that, and I messaged this person because I want to talk directly to the person that I saw the DM from. And we haven't talked to this person yet. But the person said in the DM to another kid that is associated, not any of the kids that I interviewed to talk to, but that could be associated to some degree that knew Nolan, that this person wrote a message saying, me and my husband saw you arguing with Nolan, and to the effect of, you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison. Now, the person did not say they saw a physical altercation. The person did not say what time they saw Nolan and this other person getting into an argument. Now, this is after Warren, their boat left. This may be somewhere around a little bit before 6, right around 6 or a little bit before 6 p.m.
Wow.
Now, according to the autopsy, which I interviewed a medical examiner about this, there is no evidence of blunt force trauma or an evidence that Nolan got into a physical altercation. So I'm putting all this stuff together, what people are sending me and all that, and I'm trying to find a neutral point to share with you. What I'm thinking at this point, with all that has been said, is that somebody knows exactly what happened to Nolan, or they saw him right before he died. I am not convinced that Nolan was just out there and drowned. It could be. That could have happened. But I'm more convinced now than ever based on what people have been telling me and DMs that I've been seeing, people that have been verified sources, that has to be something with this cocaine. There has to be something with Nolan and a girl. And there has to be something with Nolan potentially being in either altercation with somebody, which would lead me to believe that that person saw Nolan last. And that this other person that's giving people cocaine. So this person giving people cocaine, a girl, Nolan, and another person that he may have been in an argument with, to me, are people that need to be investigated. And I can say more, but I'm trying not to get anything messed up.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna leave that there. There's something from TMZ that he's getting this from, so I just wanted to see what they have here, and then we'll kind of
Still staying up late gaming
recap
solo?
everything.
With
Because
Hacko
holy
AI,
cow,
get the
this has
ultimate
been a lot.
companion for your playtime.
I noticed that the enemy jungle Ramus.
Confidence up. There is some new video that has surfaced in the Nolan Wells case that seems to support what we were told by sources directly with direct knowledge of the
Yeah, I
investigation.
don't think it does.
That after Nolan's friends left on their boat at 4:30, that Nolan remained at the island. And in fact, there was one report that claimed that he was there as late as 6 o'clock, still on the island. This new video it shows the boat that Nolan's friends were on when they left the island. This is the boat that Nolan arrived at Horn Island on July 4th.
Same friends.
Same friends. Seven people, which is what we heard them describe on the call to the tow company. And they're all on the boat there. This is as they are trying to get it started.
And there's no Nolan in sight.
Right. And the 7 people you can see on there, Nolan is not one of them.
And I think it's important to say, and you said it, but I want to reinforce it. That's at the beginning of the trip. So it's not as if...
this is at the end of the day. This is 4:30 in the afternoon.
I'm sorry, at the beginning of the trip home. So that it's not like the boat's in the middle of the water and that something may have happened in between. This is as they're leaving.
Yes, they
Horn
knew
Island.
that they had a problem as they were leaving. It's part of the reason they were rushing. We've heard his friend Warren describe that they were yelling at him, "Come on, get on the boat." So,
I mean, the only point I want to make is that it's not like the boat had traveled for 10 minutes and something could have happened in the 10 minutes. It's right at Horn Island where you see this video.
Right. So eventually they get the boat started and they get towed for a while, and then they end up going back to the mainland.
So this is really relevant because a lot of people think that his friends that he went with in some way are hiding something that may have happened in their presence with Nolan.
And the audio from that phone call that was made to the tow company certainly added to that made people, because some people think they hear a reference to Nolan, and they think they hear a reference to him being on island after 4:30. Now, I've been saying all along, the main thing is if his friends leave at 4:30, who were the people who were with Nolan after that? Because
There were
they're
a
going to
lot.
have the answer.
That's right, and there were a lot of people on the island.
A lot of
it was
people
the 4th
there.
of July.
There was the girl named Katie, who, you know, we heard Nolan's mom say that she spoke to Katie, but Katie said that she saw Nolan, but sort of a hi bye in passing thing. Now, that's not how their friend Warren described it, but if it's not Katie, there were other people who were there.
There were a lot of people.
And so who is going to the police? We now know from a document from the Department of Marine Resources in Mississippi. This is a document, ABC News obtained this, but it shows what they told searchers when they were going out searching for Nolan. And there were witnesses who described Nolan. So now we know there were definitely people who saw him and said that they described him as having a lot of alcohol that day.
That he was drinking heavily.
Heavy alcohol intake that day. Now,
and others.
I don't know how much. I understand that could be relevant depending on when we find out from the coroner how he actually died. So it could be relevant there. I don't think it's not a big newsflash to me. We spoke to a friend who was out there. He told us that the kids were drinking.
Well, but
we've heard multiple, and also
I think
it's 4th of July.
But there's a difference.
What are 18 and 19-year-olds doing on an island?
They're drinking heavily.
Of
but
course.
they hadn't used the word heavily until now. And look, the reality of the word heavily is that if somebody falls overboard.
I mean, that's not surprising. The drinking thing, right? Teenagers, 4th of July, right? Everybody else out there doing it. Cocaine, obviously, that's a red flag. I mean, I never did that stuff. I preferred my marijuana.
That drowning is probably more of a possibility.
I also think that word heavily is incredibly subjective.
It is.
So
yeah, but you know what?
Someone described to the police as heavily may not have been that big of a deal. I'm just saying it is too early to say whether or not him having alcohol, which is not, again.
Okay. I thought they'd have a little bit more. Obviously, Tatum. If you guys want to watch his whole video, that's part of the reason why I didn't want to play all of it, because with the Tatum video, you know, he just put that out. I mean, it looked like he went live just like an hour before I went live. And thank you, Buck, again for sending that. So if anybody wants to go check that out, you can. But yeah, so recap everything. Let's see, what time did I start? 5:30. Oh, man, holy cow, it's already been 2 hours. So if you missed anything, let's do a quick recap. Nolan Wells went to celebrate. They had parties at this little island, Horn Island, for the 4th of July. He was with friends that had a larger group, but on that particular boat, like 7, 8 friends. But then when they had to go, according to them, they said that Nolan was still on the island with this girl, and then they were trying to wave him on, like, come on, we need to go now. And now it makes a little bit more sense of why the friend in the interview was like, you know, we got to go, because they're probably taking on water and knew that they needed to go get their boat fixed or whatever. Then he doesn't show up home, doesn't end up coming back, and then sadly searches on for him, and they find his body sadly on July 6th, face down at the northwestern tip of this island, which is not where they were parked at. They were partying more at kind of the middle part of the island, from what it looks like. But one of the last, at least till there's more video that comes out, the video that shows him in his trunks, which is, I don't know if I can find it real quick. so quick. Not this one, but the one that shows him for a brief second. I can find it. Shows him at like what it looks like he's on the girl or that Katie's boat. Oh, no, not this one. Of course, the video is so short, hard to find it. Maybe I have a screenshot of it. No, and oh yeah, I do. Yeah, this one by TMZ, and so this is allegedly Little Daddy. Thanks, Crazy Buck, saying this is allegedly. I'll just say allegedly until we know more. That girl Katie's boat that he was allegedly wanting to stay on the island and let the friends wave them on because he was going to stay with her. But then her story is that she says the opposite. No, he left with the friends. So it comes down to the friends and this girl. But it sounds like there is more forces at play as there's obviously parties going on and somebody running around with cocaine offering it to people. And according to this officer datum says that he was allegedly consuming it, which again, we'll find out in the toxicology report that they said can take up to 6 to 8 weeks. So we're at like 4 weeks, July 4th, coming up on 4 weeks. So we still have at least another 2 weeks. But with these cases, you never know. It could come out tomorrow. It could come out 2 months from now. But yeah, after going through this live and then listening to what Officer Tatum has. Oh, the other thing is like a lot of people with this case were hearing this phone call. I'll play just the first part again. And I do think maybe it's not being purposely deceitful, but people are maybe. Oh, here it is. Keep in mind this call, like everything that's being like you're hearing in the background is like was really distorted because I did hear some of the original and it was really, really distorted. So again, when you put subtitles up, they may not be really saying this stuff, right? I mean, oh my God, could be just reference to, oh, we're taking on water. And Nolan could, and don't die could be like, don't die. I don't know, the motor or whatever, or the bilge pump. I am not a boat guy, so.
Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the.
But I think this phone call definitely, if I would have heard this, I'd just start the case and this was the only information out. I mean, I'd be super sus, so I don't blame people for being like in the boat of the friends being involved when you hear, this kind of what sounds like them kind of screaming, Nolan, don't die, but could have been just taken out of context, or are we not really hearing what's in the subtitles? It's just something else it's close to that.
West tip of Horn, and our bilge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the work coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Detail assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the.
Yeah. So anyway, so I can definitely see that can get definitely weaponized. I'm not saying like any particular person purposely weaponized that, but just by trying to enhance it and then thinking you're hearing certain words, and then of course those particular words, Nolan and don't die. And it sounds like they're panicking. But now, after going through this live and then hearing what Officer Tatum put out, again, he just put this video out less than 24 hours ago, showing them not long after the phone call. There's no Nolan on site. I mean, it doesn't look like they. I mean, it's tough to tell from a 5-second clip, but it doesn't look like they just got done, covering up something. But yeah. And the dead part could be in reference, again, like I said, to so many things, if that is dead, right? Again, if I hit the like button, let me know if you guys want. I'll definitely cover this case again. I know there's some other stuff in the Nancy Guthrie case. A lot of people tell me they were kind of like sick of that case, so I thought I'd switch to this. But it sounds like there's a lot of stuff with this case like that is like developing, so it's maybe a good time to maybe hop on this case, because it seems like maybe for this first few weeks, maybe one side has been kind of vilified, and now maybe more of the truth is starting to come out, more context, shall we say. Yeah, there's still so much more. Oh, the grandpa, I think they had got the pump working. I mean, clearly the tow people came out, but I guess they didn't actually need to be towed, right? Because, like, they fixed it. But again, yeah, when it comes to boat stuff, I know nothing.
I was panicking and everyone.
Yeah.
Because stay in Snapchat.
So that is it. I'll take one last look real quick. No, not TMZ. Nope, don't do that. Update. And thank you to my wonderful mods again for what you guys do. So it looks like it's just the same report, but again, it seems like the Tatum has more than just the drinking. But he says there are multiple witnesses that saw him after the friends left with the boat. And if that is true, and if any of that footage or whatever screen, photo, that comes out, then I think that's pretty much a done deal. And then it's, who was it on the beach? Was it Katie or Katie's circle of people, or an outsider group that was on the island that did something nefarious? But yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I am definitely intrigued. I'm because for those of you who known me a long time, I love. I used to edit, enhance audio all the time, and so if anybody knows, I think somebody mentioned where I could maybe get the original audio, which was what's her face? Oh, great content creator. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Someone mentioned in the chat earlier. Lovely woman. Great content creator. She always tends to get her hands on audio and body cam footage. You know what I'm talking about, put in the chat. Plunder, thank you. Plunder, yeah. She's amazing. I love her. Whenever I'm working a case or following a case parallel to her, I always check to see what she has. Like when it came to the Stephen Stearns case, because she was getting her hands on all sorts of stuff, and yeah. Bart. Yeah, thank you again, Buck, so much, and to Alan and everybody giving insight, and just to everybody being in here, taking the time out of the day, follow me, watch this channel. I appreciate it. Yeah, she's awesome. But with that, I'll probably do a couple more lives this week, back to back, to finish up the month, because YouTube, the algorithm, when especially when you switch to another case, is not the best. So I need to kind of pick up some extra lives. And thank you to those that donated. I appreciate that. Helps out the channel so much, because again, Sebastian, if I covered that, which there's just nothing else really. I know the lawsuit came out, but other than that, unless something major happens, it's gonna be kind of a battle to get back in there with everybody else grinding all these cases and doing an amazing job. So I do appreciate you guys being loyal, and God bless. We will see you guys likely tomorrow. I am going to also be putting short content out. I kind of wanted to wait till I knew which case I was going to be following, so may have some probably like short videos on this particular case come out, because it sounds like things are starting to heat up in this case. So, oh, thank you, Tammy. I appreciate that. Speaking of which, yeah. I think you emailed me. I need to get back to your email. I had an issue with my password the last couple of days, but I got it fixed. So, but that, we'll play a pet outro for the members. And again, good to see you, D. I hope you're doing well, sweetheart. Sassy and Sensei and Pocahontas. Thank you, ladies, as always. God bless. Yeah, I will try to pick up another live tomorrow. So we'll see you guys then. I'll notify you guys. Be part of my Facebook group page. I usually post something by 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, jeez. Let me try not to deafen you guys. Is this a different case, Sassy? Yeah, thank you, Mystic. Thank you, Buck. Kai Kai. The next lives will be a lot easier. Now I kind of getting used to all the players in this case. Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate that. Good to see you, Geneva. God bless. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Oh, okay. Yeah, email it to me. You know me. There's something I can decipher. Kind of thought about tailoring my channel to doing kind of surveillance stuff, like focus, but I don't know. That's early works. But now that I'm feeling a lot better, stomach issues have been practically non-existent. It's so nice. Maybe by next year I can start going out again too. Get the drone out.